want you, so I'm crazy. Won't you bend that back for me? We won't stop, got your feet both locked. You get to fly with me. Heaven is feeling right far away. How can we fall in love for a day? I want to fall in love, baby, just for the night, just for the night. Heaven is feeling right far away. How can we fall in love for a day? I want to fall in love, baby, just for the night, just for the night.
Hello, you guys. We are so excited you're spending your evening with us. We're still getting things rolling here, allowing people to join in, but we are so excited and we cannot wait to get started. So if you haven't already, go into the chat and let us know who you are, where you're coming from, what you're possibly most excited about, or just how you heard about She Factor. We're so thrilled to have you here, and we will get going shortly. All right, you guys, we're going to get started here. We're probably still going to have more people coming through. And, just again, we're so thrilled you're here. If you've been to any of our events before, you kind of know the drill. But we just want to thank you for being here. Make sure you are following the She Factor, Mava, Air Professionals, as well as all of our amazing speakers on the gram, because you want to be eligible to win all of the amazing giveaways tonight. There's so much goodness, you guys. And yeah, again, we're just so excited. Keep in mind, I'm totally not the usual host for this. So if you know that already, there might be some technical issues, but we just don't know yet. So we're going to figure it out and we're going to have fun while we do it. So again, thank you for bearing with us. And here we go. And we have a little extra surprise for you because our usual host, the beautiful Tori, is not able to join us. So we have a little special something to get going. Sorry about this, guys. As we said, there's going to be a few technical difficulties, so just bear with me just one.
Hi guys, Tori here. I miss you all so much and I wish I could. Hi guys, Tori here. I miss you all so much and I wish I could be on the event tonight. I am so sad that I'm missing it because you guys are in for one of the best events that we've ever hosted. I tried to make the most of my fashion with my tie-dye shirt and my corduroy hat, even though I'm wearing pajamas and no makeup, but hey, you gotta do what you gotta do. Um, if you haven't heard already, Heidi, my mom, got surgery today. So I'm taking the night off to be with her and my family. And good news is surgery went fantastic, and the doctor even said couldn't have gone better. So that's awesome. And you guys are in awesome hands too. Ashley McNaught is going to be your host. She's a dear friend of mine. She's just been so involved with She Factor from day one. She's on every happy hour every week. She's a brand ambassador. She's just so fantastic, and she's, like I said, just become a really dear friend of mine. So treat her nicely. It's going to be so fun. I honestly think she's going to take my job away from me. She's going to make it so fun. You have such an awesome lineup of speakers.
My fucking God.
Hi guys, Tori here. And I honestly think she's going to take my job away from me. She's going to make it so fun. You have such an awesome lineup of speakers, and I can't wait to hear how it goes. So, yeah, that's all for me. Have so much fun tonight. Enjoy. Get active in the chat. Empower each other. Love each other. Sending all my love to you. Mwah. Love you all.
All right, you guys, sorry about that. Oh my gosh, this Zoom world. And of course, you might have heard me going, because I got a little click happy and a little nervous. We've all been there, right? But let's get going. So if you don't know me, I'm Ashley. I am a She Factor brand ambassador, and I just love all things she. And I'm just here so excited to bring you women together to really empower these 20-somethings that deserve a little direction in life. Personally, I'm a huge thrifting advocate. If you could see my outfit right now, I am head to toe thrifted fashion because that is my jam. It is my brand. I am all about the empowering ability of a great outfit, how it can affect your mood, your mindset, absolutely everything. And I actually think it's so cool that She Factor is built for women in their 20s. And I just personally is like, oh my gosh, what would it have been like if I had a community like this? Ladies, I'm turning 30 in just like 2 weeks. And to me, I'm so excited to turn 30. However, I didn't really figure out who I was, like truly, you know, being confident in who I was until probably a few years ago. And it was when I learned that I was my best advocate, that I had to stand up for myself in every regard, that I was allowed to walk away from those friendships that were easy, those relationships that weren't really doing anything for me to, you know, project me into the path that I knew I was meant to do. And so I am just so thrilled for all things She Factor, and I'm so excited to talk about everything that we're going to do. And so to start it off, we are going to talk about our first giveaway. And so if you want to head over to the She Factor Instagram, we have our first giveaway going live right now. So make sure you head on over there and go enter. And yeah, so obviously tonight is Fierce Fashion. This is what we are doing, and we are so excited. I cannot wait for all the speakers and panelists we have coming to you live tonight, and they're just going to share so much liquid gold. Like, oh my gosh, it's going to be incredible. So anyways, we have such a fun night in store for you. Our first speaker is going to be the beautiful Silverina Leonard. I apologize if I botch any names. Oh my gosh, y'all, like we've all been there again. But our first lady is Silverina, and she's going to get up close and personal about her entrepreneurship journey, starting her luxury handbag company, Sil Leon. And there might be a giveaway included, so stay tuned for that as well. Then we're going to be talking about all the future of fashion with the fierce fashionistas who are taking the industry by storm. We're diving into all the juicy topics: social media and influencers, sustainability, new technology, diversity, and of course we have to talk about fall trends, because I mean, I live in Arizona, so fall's still a ways away, but I'm jealous of you all that get to start wearing the sweaters and booties very, very soon. I know you're all dying to put your name in the hat for our awesome giveaways tonight, so let's not waste another second. Let's chat about all the giveaways. So if you missed the very beginning, I mentioned that you have to be following the She Factor and to be eligible to win any of our giveaways. Plus, if you're following our sponsors and speakers, you're going to get an additional entry. So all of them are posted on the screen right now. Be sure to go give them all a follow so you can win all the goodness. You do have to live in the United States, so I'm so sorry to our international babes, but we'll be announcing all of our winners by Friday on our stories. So head to stories now over at She Factor to see the first opportunity to win, because how fun are giveaways? And then more details. One of our giveaways tonight is we have 15 She Factor fashion boxes. That is the most we've ever given away during an event, and we'll be talking about some of those goodies that are going to be in the boxes throughout the evening. So stay tuned for the awesomeness that is in that box. You are going to love it. Our first featured brand is Mava, affordable yet gorgeous, minimal and statement jewelry. I mean, look how beautiful these pieces are, ladies. Like, they are stunning. Right there on the screen, we have this beautiful, beautiful necklace that, oh gosh, I want it as well. So make sure you stay tuned. While you go enter the giveaway through our stories, I'm going to talk a little bit more about fashion. So what is fashion in She Factor terms? Fashion is your personal billboard. It is so powerful, both inside and out. Our style can genuinely reflect what we want to achieve as well as what we're trying to grow out of. Getting intentional about what you wear can ripple out and affect the way your style can become an integrational part to your life. Literally, it speaks for itself, you guys. It's literally getting intentional about what you wear, and it affects every aspect of your life, not unlike a beautifully rendered canvas. It's not about fashion. It's about the incredible woman inside. You're a whole person with your own personality, passion, and purpose, and fashion lets the world see who you are. You're fierce, baby. Don't ever forget it. You are fierce, and you're a boss, and you got this. Now, let's do a quick exercise to find out what fashion means to you. Do you enjoy presenting yourself in a certain way? How does that version of yourself look? What 3 words would your friends or loved ones use to describe you? Does your current style reflect how you want the world to see you? Because even though you think you're being perceived one way, I dare you to question yourself. Does it really portray what you are hoping that others are seeing within you? What clothing makes you feel empowered, strong, like a leader of your life? How do you know the clothing is worth it? When you ace an interview, get a compliment, or maybe feel comfortable that day. I don't know about you guys, but I'm a good blazer girl. Like, a blazer can make or break my mood. When I need to feel like boss up, I put on a kick-ass blazer. And let's be real, in She Factor colors, we cannot complain. So drop your reflections in the chat. Tell us what fashion means to you. Share your 3 words with us if you feel inclined to. We would love to hear that. Oh, I'm loving it. Quirky, colorful, bright. Oh, that's so, so good. Oh, so, so good, you guys. Love sharing it. Make sure you have it on all attendees so that we can all see what you're doing. Ooh, classic and timeless. I am so here for that, girlfriend. Yes, Kayla. Yes, Malik. So good. This is all so good. You are empowered women, ladies. Don't ever forget it. All right, and now we're going to have our first speaker on, the beautiful Silverina. She is the founder of Cillian Bags, and so we're going to hop her on right now. Hello, how are you, gorgeous?
I'm well, how are you?
Oh, marvelous. You know, just flying by the seat of my pants and making this magic happen.
Absolutely, that's how we do it, right?
That's right, girl. We're all about pivoting and adjusting, that's for sure.
That is it.
All right, well, I would love to find out from you, like, what does fashion mean to you? Kind of broad.
Oh my gosh. Fashion to me, you know, I gotta be honest with you ladies, like literally it's life to me. I feel like it's been a lifeline for me since I was a kid. You know, it got me through, like, it may sound trivial to some people, but it's literally gotten me through some dark seasons in my life. And probably about 5 years ago, literally it was make or break it. Like, just fighting literally physically for my life. So every day I daily had to choose to get up to look like I wanted to feel inside and out. So I chose to get up and get dressed and feel good and look good. And, you know, the people who were closest to me would always be like, oh my gosh, Silverina, you look so amazing. And there were days that I was in pain from the top of my head to the bottom of my feet. And I would have to share with them, you know, today was a choice to look amazing. And now I can say today, like, I feel amazing. And I finally just am so grateful for fashion because it's been a companion for me.
I completely love that, because I think it is so important to know that, like, your self-representation, it begins with yourself, and you have to dress for yourself before you can dress for anybody else.
Absolutely.
And it all starts with the shoes you're wearing, girl. And from then up, you know, you just go from there.
So good. Yep.
Yes, ma'am. So how did, like, your journey with Cillian begin? Like, what got you going down this creative path to create this amazing brand that you stand behind?
Oh my gosh. Stumbled into it. You think, right? But looking back again, I feel like it started in my youth. Just looking back, remembering back then going to school was about, you know, you had your first what do you want to be when you grow up project. And I remember, you know, illustrating with my awesome color construction paper craft and yarn binding, and I remember putting in there either I wanted to be a lawyer or a fashion designer. Fast forward to high school, I remember bravely, courageously throwing together, like you, total thrift store queen, throwing together, I know, right? Throwing together some things and praying and hoping when I wore them to school that they would totally hold up through the day. And they did. And then moving forward from there, leaving corporate and finding myself at home as a stay-at-home mom with my oldest child. Then wanting to tap back into just my creative juices and looking back at that, not realizing what it was stirring up, what was already in me, that entrepreneurial spirit, starting with gift cards. And then, like, searching for creative mediums to use on top of these gift cards. And I stumbled up on a green piece of leather. And not knowing that that would kind of catapult, that was like the catalyst to where I am today. And I mean, stumbled upon it, but it was in there, and that started it.
That's so incredible. And it's so cool to see how you're, like, beginning, like, parts of your fashion life of sustainability and that necessity for that truly translates within your brand. And yet you've created this luxury design bag, like out of something that people wouldn't expect. And I just think it's so incredible that, you know, your bags, they are luxury. They're a little more expensive than like the standard bag, but each one is so uniquely made and hand stitched, made with like the most high quality sustainable materials. And I just think that's so cool. So I'd love to hear a little bit more about like what goes into the making of these bags, like from start to finish.
From start to finish, first I have to definitely just express the fact that true luxury, like to me, means value. So me, you know, living right now in what to me is like a disposable fashion world. Like we want things, we want to throw it, you know, get rid of it, but really creating something that brings value back to the industry. So with that, and my desire and love for fashion, and then just my frustration for disposable fashion, and then just a passion and knowing that it's my role and my responsibility to create a solution to a problem, all combined in one, is the foundation for why Cillian does things the way that we do. And literally each piece is just cut from a tanned leather that we get locally. It's hand waxed and hand cut. And then all holes are punched by hand. And then literally it's stitched with a ruching technique that I use and identifies the brand for Cillian.
That is so cool. By any chance, do you have any that you want to show us tonight?
I do. And
you had to know I was going to ask, girl.
First, I definitely have to show you, because this is a reminder to me every day and will remind me every day. It sits in my studio and it just shows where and reminds me where Cillian came from. That little green piece of leather, like literally this was the little bag that I stitched in the wee hours, not even stitched, but glued together in the wee hours of the morning, you know, going, oh, I want to create a bag. So this is literally where it started.
Love that.
And right now, like I have our 3 sides Jane bag, which is a bag that converts in several different ways. It has your, I don't know if you can see that.
Yeah, that striped lining.
The striped lining, and has your little snap closure in there. You can wear it as a shoulder bag. You can wear it as your crossbody. And I'm not great at modeling here.
You're a fabulous model, own it, girl.
I don't know if you can see that, but that's that. And you can even take off the strap and make it as a little clutch if you'd like.
I'm all about versatility. I love that.
And that's the 3 sides Jane. It also has your 2 little pockets in the back where you can put your iPhone or whatever you want to stick in there.
Right.
And then we have our newest edition, which is our tote, which everybody loves. Has 2 pockets here. And then all of them come in the nude leather because I really want to highlight the fact of what our brand is about, which is the hand stitching.
Yes.
Fun back strap there, and then your inner pocket lining you can get in different colors, and then our beautiful logo here. Just fun and like buttery and cozy and just, you know, worth every penny.
Right.
That's put into it, and that's invested into it by every buyer. So
that is so incredible. You could see the quality in that stitching, the thought process to put like the fun lining inside, the ability to make it versatile and like really like just make it be whatever anybody is looking for. I love that 3 style one because you just never know. I'm a crazy bag lady, but I know that I change my purse like literally every day. And if I had a bag like that could be 3 different things, I'd probably stick with one bag for more than a week, which would be like insane for me. But
intended purpose, right? That's
yeah,
right.
It has a purpose, exactly. And that tote, holy crap. Like everyone needs a fabulous tote that you can fit like your laptop, your planner, your phone, your keys, your everything. Like here in Arizona, my 40-ounce water bottle goes with me everywhere. And I maybe have 2 purses that fit said water bottle. So Love, love that. Love that. It is so incredible, girl. Do you have a favorite bag that you know of?
I would have to say all of them are my favorite in the creative process. But I'm sure as all of you amazing entrepreneurs know that you're like, once something is done, you're already on to the next thing. So every bag, every new creation is my favorite. So.
Ah, that is so incredible. Like, so in your mind, you know, the sustainability aspect and the quality are super important. And with each one being hand stitched, like you can see the love that goes into these. Like it's, you see the attention to detail, all the mindful things that you're putting in through your heart and through your work and to create this vision. So what do you want women to feel and experience from your bags?
This probably has to be my favorite question, because it encompasses really what Cilion is all about, which is embodying experience. The whole point is to just bring creative value back to the industry, and it's okay to take it slow, right? For me, like, honestly, I remember like the whole point in the back part, the foundation of the designs of Cilion really kind of takes me back personally to remembering like when my grandmother was sitting in her sewing chair and, you know, finishing the last little details on a custom designed wedding gown, or looking back in my parents' photo album and seeing, you know, these amazing 70s photos of my mom looking like a fashion diva, like in her clothes with her hat and her dress, and just looking at her going, oh my gosh, like that's what I want to be when I grow up. Or, you know, going through my grandmother's cedar chest and that smell, right? But then pulling out these clothes that are still ready to wear. And at this point right now, like the current climate in that we're living in right now, everything is a go. Right. And being a thrift store queen, like looking back at things that were old, but are still new and are still relevant today. So, you know, I want Cilion's audience, I want Cilion to bring to her audience just all those senses back again when they walk away with one of the Cilion products. And then, you know, most of all, knowing that the investment into these products is actually empowering other women, because the basis of our company, the basis of Cilion is to empower other women through creating just a phenomenal, life-giving work environment that uses gifts and skills and excites women to come to work, right?
Right. I love that so much. And that is so strong because like you said, in today's society, we live in such a go, 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 here and now, fast everything, including fast fashion. And there's no reason for that when we could truly make the sustainable impact that not only is powerful on like, just like a basis of not endorsing the fast fashion, but also just the ability to, how you said, like give new life to these things that, you know, you see 50 years ago, like in your grandmother's cedar chest. My mom and my grandmother had the same cedar chest. And I know that smell you're talking about of lifting it out and just pulling something out that you're just like, My mom had this all white pantsuit when I was like 6 years old. And I remember it. And I asked her the other day, I was like, Mom, this pantsuit. She's like, oh no, I got rid of that 20 years ago. I'm like, oh, I love that so much. So what is your vision for the company? Like, where do you see it going the next, like 4 years, 5 years, 10 years, 20 years? Like, what is your like growth mindset for the future for Cilion?
Oh my gosh. I'm a big dreamer. I'm a big visionary, as I'm sure everybody who is on here is. And so going big, right? Go big or go home. So literally within the next year, 10 years, and I don't care how fast it comes or how long it takes, right? But fully operating just in a united partnership, first of all, with passionate people that are united with the same purpose and the vision for this company. Because I've worked with other people that have had kind of their own separate vision, and that doesn't work. So just really finding a core team that, you know, wants to see this come to life and is, you know, full force and fully in and fully invested to bringing this to life. and then really having a full brand, accessories, already moving on to wear and a home brand and in-house manufacturing. Looking at outsourcing right now just to keep up with demand, but ultimate goal is to have everything in-house and then international expansion. And then being able to kind of use the ups and downs of this journey, not just a finished product, but to give people hope through the process. So kind of vlogging, if you will, this whole process to encourage other people, encourage other entrepreneurs to ignite vision in other women, and then at the same time to lock arms with those who are already on the journey, right? To encourage one another to say, don't quit the grind, let's keep going. Yes. And then ultimately having nonprofit and, you know, creating a space to where we're providing entrepreneurial mentoring and skill training for mainly my heart is with single parent families, because that's me, and supporting their entrepreneurial vision in whatever way and at whatever capacity we can. And then our ultimate main goal would be within the next 12 months to actually be partnering with and employing and serving as many women and families as we can through our Empowering Care business plan. So.
Oh, I love that so much, girl. You just keep grinding out those goals, man, because nothing feels better than like having your goals laid out and just truly seeing them come to life and like putting in that effort every single day to make your magic happen, because I just think that's so awesome. And it's so important to share that like you have that vision, because so often we limit ourselves with our visions and just go, you know, I can't think that far ahead. I'm only in right now. And it's like, it's okay to dream big. It's okay to set those goals. Yeah, you have to hustle now, but just always be working towards the next thing, because you can only grow bigger and better, you know, and you don't want to plateau. So I love that you have no risk of plateauing with your goals, girl. Like I applaud that so highly.
Well, thank you. Well, I have to be honest. I'm a little bit past my 20s, but you ladies inspire me. And if anything, oh my gosh, I wish, just like you said at the beginning, that I had a community to inspire me like in my 20s. Who knows where I'd be right now. So the only thing, and again, owning our responsibility, my responsibility is to give back and to cheer you ladies on and, you know, to help support in any way that I can. So
love that so much. Oh, my pleasure. I mean, every word, girl, and you just keep grinding and keep doing it. If you don't mind, we have a few questions from some of our ladies, if you don't mind me throwing them at you.
Absolutely. I'll try.
All right. So a big one is, how did you find a way to set your brand apart to be the unique creation that is Cillian?
Oh my gosh. Immediately it goes back to, I have to say, I always call myself, I was born in Kansas, but moved to Texas. So I feel like I'm a Texas native, like right out of the box, right? Grew up in Texas, live now in Colorado, but I was branded by Texas, right? And all things big in Texas. So growing up there, you know, loving your Doonies, your LVs, you know, all of that, but really not having the space to afford any of them. Like literally, you know, I had my one or two, but then really just kind of looking into it. And again, my gift for fashion and what was already put in me, I would say, for fashion, started looking into how it was made and the quality of it, and understanding why women would pay what they're paying for this brand, and knowing that it was, you know, European brands, because they want to do things well, they do things with quality, and figuring out a way and looking at it saying, you know, hey, I could be the Louis Vuitton of America. And literally just sharing that with you ladies, like that is my ultimate goal, my vision, to be the Louis Vuitton of America.
That is a statement.
Right?
Oh girl, I am like so here for that. I can totally relate to the wanting the LVs, the everything, the Gucci, the Chanel, and just going at those price points going, but why? Like, I don't get it. But again, when you do the research, you find out
Mhm.
why it is at that price. But creating something from a small business standpoint that truly could be something to compete with those brands, but it's American made. And that is such a
Absolutely.
beautiful, beautiful statement. I love that so much, girl. So, but on that note, what do you think is a good tool that for what sets you apart from the LVs, the Gucci, the Chanel? Like, what makes Silion so unique that it could be the LV of America?
The word that comes to me right away is approachability. So if you know, like even that or whatever, looking at photos of myself, which I've tried to hide from for a long time. Like I'm the behind the scenes person. I'll do whatever you need behind the scenes. I do not want to be the front man, right? Or the front woman. But wanting my audience to know who I am. And I remember one time a woman came up to me and she's like, oh my gosh, you have just the most amazing style and this, that, and the other. But at the same time, you're so approachable. Because a lot of times we see women, you know, who have it all put together, but you don't feel comfortable approaching them, right? But I want to be that woman, that brand that, you know, looks all that, but am approachable. You want to get to know me, right?
Yeah.
So that's just the face behind the brand. And I hope that that's what sets Silion apart, that it's an amazing product and worth every penny, but at the same time, it's approachable. So from the price point to literally being able to get to know the faces behind the brand, in any way, like the journey kind of, you know, pivots and twists or whatever to make that accessible to the audience.
I love that so much, because that is such a true like statement that all these huge name brands, like what is the face behind the brand other than the logo? Like, I don't know about you, but I personally, like I see the LV and I'm like, oh yeah, that's Louis Vuitton. But like,
Right.
Who's the face? Who's the creator behind this? Like, I just think it's so amazing that you have that goal to just like be known, because you deserve to be known. This is your brand, your representation. It's a representation of you. And I think that is so dang powerful. Like, thank you so much for sharing that with us.
Absolutely. Thanks for the question.
Yeah. Well, I hear that you might have a little giveaway for us. You want to share with us?
I don't have one to show, but if ladies, if you'll go to Instagram, Silion Bags, or my website, and that it has a link to my website, there is a Carrie Jane clutch on there I'm giving away in red stitch. So like, follow, whatever you ladies need to do in order to be the one to receive.
I love that so much. And oops, sorry, lost you for a second. My bad. Figuring out this goodness. But ladies, you heard it. Head to Silion Bags. Go enter to win. We are so excited that one of you is going to receive this gorgeous. I can't wait to see the red stitching. I'm 100% going to enter this giveaway.
Really?
Oh, you don't even know, girl. I'm all about a great giveaway, especially supporting somebody as amazing as you with your amazing brand. Like, just thank you so much for taking the time to share with us. And I know that all of our women are going to go check out your bags and love everything that you're sharing. So just thank you for all that you're doing. We really appreciate you taking the time to share your journey, your brand, your community, and just empowering women to know that, like, hey, you can have those dreams, you can have those goals, and you just go for it.
Absolutely. Well, again, thank you, ladies. Keep pushing, keep grinding.
You're beautiful, and thank you. And we look forward to hearing more from you shortly.
Okay. Thanks, Ashley.
Thank you. Bye, Sabrina. Right. So now we are moving on a little bit, ladies. How do you all feel after the beautiful Silverinos talk? Are you just feeling so empowered and creative? Like, I feel like I need to go glue some leather together to make a creative little cute green bag. Like, how cool was that? Like, I just thought that was so amazing. And I want everyone to type one word, head to the chat, type one word for how you're feeling. I just think this is so incredible. Fashion is so dang impactful, ladies. And it's very obvious that like we are just surrounded by greatness right now. Like, this was so, so good. So good. I love it. All right, and before we jump into the future of fashion panel discussion, we have one more giveaway because God, we know we are all about the giveaways. And we are so excited that, yes, we are talking mostly about clothes tonight, but fashion is also a way to includes any way to express yourself, whether it's hair, home decor, nail color, makeup, you name it. And we are obsessing with Air Professional. And we are so excited that they are an Arizona-based company. And obviously, I'm so here for that, representing AZ and yeah, everything it has to offer. And yeah, so Air Professional sells crystal infused hair products with a mission to empower women to channel their inner goddess vibes at all times. Every pretty lady is getting a fashion box is going to get a bottle of their texture spray. And y'all, it is so good. Can't wait for you babes to try it. I am all about the texture, even though it looks big now. It's normally not very big. So give me all the dry shampoo and texture spray. And I cannot wait to try theirs. So the moment you've all been waiting for. Like, we are so excited, and our future of fashion panel is about to happen. So just give me one quick second to get that going and stay tuned. Oh my God, now what do I do? How do I share screen? How do I share screen? I forgot how to share screen. You can hear me. Da, da, da. Do, 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 do. All right, ladies, sorry, we're gonna figure this out. I'm figuring it out because we're just doing things like that. All right. All right, are we ready, ladies? Are we ready for the future of fashion panel? Holy moly, I am so excited. We have amazing ladies, including Melissa, Azra, Raquel, and Nina. They're going to be joining us real quick, and we are so excited. Do, do, do. Hello, Azra. Just getting all the beautiful ladies on here.
Am I allowed to unmute myself now?
Yes, please do. I'm glad you're ahead of the game because I'm definitely still figuring it out as we go.
You're doing great,
Hello,
actually.
Melissa.
Hello. Can you hear me all right?
I
Hi,
can.
ladies.
Okay.
Let's see. I'm just gonna get. There we go. There you are. I was just coming on to get you, beautiful.
Hello, how are you?
Doing well. I'm so glad you're all here. Thank you so much for carving out time on your Wednesday to come share your brand and to talk and empower these beautiful women that have joined us to celebrate on this lovely Wednesday evening. So yeah, anyway, would you all like to just briefly go through and like do a small introduction on yourself in case our ladies and members that have joined don't know? Like, let's give them the good details.
Sure. Do you want me to go first?
Go for it, Azra. I saw you nodding, so
Cool.
go for it.
So I'm Azra, currently dialing in from Stanford, California. I am a writer and a video editor and the founder of the October Club, which is a community of conscious shoppers. And every week I write about a product or a brand that is sustainable, ethical, eco-friendly, and I kind of make an effort to really dive deep into how things are made, how they're packaged, how they're shipped, all of that good stuff, because there's a lot of greenwashing out there. Prior to doing this, so I worked at Stella McCartney, which is where my kind of love of sustainable fashion came from. And then after that, I worked at Vogue on the video team for a while.
Very cool. Well, thank you so much for being here. I think it's so powerful, like just standing up and moving away from that big fast fashion and, you know, bringing light to the green thumb that we all need to have to save our planet one little purchase at a time.
Yep.
All right, awesome. Well then, how about Melissa, my love? Why don't you start next?
Hi, everyone. I'm Melissa Miller. I'm coming to you from Columbus, Ohio. And I am creative director of fashion brand Imjo Shell, which I started. I am also the co-chair of the runway event called Passport to Fashion. We're an official part of Fashion Week Columbus, and we are all about showcasing diversity in all forms. I had a somewhat slow start to fashion. I actually grew up in an Amish community. So I like to say I came from off the grid to on the runway. And officially started my own brand about it'll be 3 years ago next month. So it's been a really cool, sometimes stressful journey. But I'm really honored to be on tonight to kind of share how that process has been and how I got to where I am.
Well, awesome. We can't wait to hear more about it. So we're so glad you're here as well. Nina, would you like to jump in there?
Sure. Hi guys, I am calling in from South Texas. I am a personal style influencer and I work in the influencer marketing sphere. And I also do creative biz coaching for women. So I'm all over the place, but everything is digitally based, whether that's fashion or the coaching and stuff. So yeah. And I've been doing that for we're doing personal style influencing for about 4 years now. I got started in fashion. I started my blog. I was like 13 or 14. So I'm doing that for a while, but yeah, 3 or 4 years.
Very cool. Well, we're so glad to hear, and we can't wait to hear more about your personal styling and to talk more about the influencer and social media marketing and all that good stuff, because we all know that's a huge market right now. So, all right, last but definitely not least, Raquel, we are so excited you're here as well.
Thank you. I'm very excited as well. My name is Raquel Phillips. I am joining you guys from Boston, Massachusetts. I am the co-founder of Catch with a Q. Catch is a personal shopping experience via text message, which I'm sure I'll dive more into about during the panel. Very excited to share my business and my child with you all. A little background about myself. I also got kind of a slow start to fashion. I actually went to business school at Babson College, which is a small school right outside of Boston. And I actually started my career in public accounting, which is probably the most diverse thing from fashion that you can get. But then I actually started Catch just over a year ago with my older sister.
Oh, that is so cool. I definitely cannot wait to hear more about that. And I know a lot of our ladies can't either. So if you guys are ready, we have some questions from some of our amazing members that I can't wait to start throwing at you to pick your brains, because gosh, that's what we're all here for, right? All right, so the first question is for you, Nina. We actually have a lot of people asking, so as a personal style influencer and a content creator, like how do you think social media is changing the game for the fashion industry?
It's changing it in a lot of ways, and it's changing really, really fast, only because like for me, I'm based in South Texas, but my audience isn't really from here, which means there's like less of a need for seasonal stuff. And even in the fashion industry in general, like we're dealing with less seasons because everyone is just from everywhere, and weather is not the same as it was like years ago, which is so weird. But yeah, and with trends as well, we're seeing things come back and go and just constantly changing.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that, especially being in Arizona. We get maybe a month of cold weather and it's like still shorts and a sweater weather. You just wear your boots, right? Because we all have fabulous boots we want to wear. Exactly.
Like it's November, but I'm like, I want to wear a turtleneck. So I'm going to go ahead and wear the turtleneck. Yeah.
No, I completely agree. As an influencer, social media content creator as well, I definitely understand the need for when your following is outside of where you live, but knowing that like, okay, how can I embrace this trend or this season, but in a way that works for me and the people that do live near me, but also inspires people that live like in Boston or live in like Ohio or Washington or wherever you may be, Florida, for God's sakes, that like, I don't think they even know what winter is. It's just... Yeah. Yeah, I think that's a really powerful thing to know, that you have a bigger reach than just your like state, even though, you know, just we're all experiencing seasons and styles in different ways.
Yeah.
So I think that's super cool. All right. Well, Raquel, we have our next question for you, my dear. And I'm sorry, I clap a lot and talk with my hands. Like that's kind of plural. I'm a big personality in case you didn't know that. But all right. So our next question is for you, Raquel. And the biggest question was that, so obviously the fashion industry is changing and technology is constantly evolving. So how have you used technology to make fashion more accessible?
Yeah, great question. So, although Catch is a fashion company, if you will, at heart, we are actually a tech company. And we're really using technology and data to be able to provide an affordable personal shopping experience. So, typical personal shopping, very expensive. It's very one-on-one. You know, you'll have a stylist or a shopper that will work directly with typically a more, you know, high end, someone with really high income, good budget. The way that we're going about it is turning style into more of a science rather than making it just one person styling another person. So the way that we're doing this without going into too much detail and boring you all with that is really going down to the inventory that we use with our brand partners and tagging all of that inventory. So rather than just looking at this top and myself saying, oh, I love this top, I think one of my customers will love this top, we actually break this top down into a bunch of different attributes like a crew neck. You know, it's a gray color, it has puff sleeves. And we understand a user style in a couple different ways. Our onboarding style quiz, we have them let us know what types of attributes they like. We also use their social media to see what brands and influencers they follow, what they're wearing in their photos. And then it's technology to match the two together. So by using technology and not making it such a one-to-one human personal experience, we're able to style thousands of people in a very small amount of time. And that makes our price point affordable to the masses. So Catch is $5 a month to receive personal styling each week, which is typically, it can be $100 an hour. And that's just, you know, not affordable, especially for the younger generation, which that millennial consumer is who we're targeting. So it's exciting that we are entering this space. We're definitely not the first, and I doubt that we will be the last. Fashion is kind of at this turning point with fashion and technology, and I'm really excited to be, you know, part of this movement into the future of fashion.
That is so cool. And I think that is such an incredible price point. I think everyone here could just be like, holy crap. I don't know about anybody else. When I heard the $5 a month, I was like, wait, what? What? Like, that's insane. But it makes so much sense because, as you said, the younger consumer, there's a reason they shop at these fashion brands, because in their mind, that's what they can afford, even though there is a bigger market and more options for, you know, longevity and truly creating a wardrobe that you're going to get extensive wearability rather than a one and done like wear. So I think that is so incredible.
Yeah, thanks.
Well, congratulations. That's very exciting. All right. And then let's see, Miss Azra, the next question is for you, my dear. All right. So how is technology to contribute, words again, sorry, I get very excited. How has technology contributed to sustainable fashion? Like, is it making more strides to a more sustainable future, or do you think it's hurting more than it's helping?
I think both. And I know that sounds like kind of a cop-out, but in a certain way, so there's a lot of technology that's actually sort of speeding up the consumption of fashion and speeding up the production of fast fashion. So I'm thinking about, you know, innovations in not just in factories and things like that, but also things like social media, which are, you know, speeding up the rate of consumption. And now we have all of these fast fashion brands that are able to like churn something out as soon as like Kim Kardashian puts it on her Instagram, and you have like thousands of people swarming the website to buy it. But I think I'm an optimistic person, and I think I will say that it is still doing a little bit more good than harm. So for example, there's a lot of innovation that's happening in the material space. So there's a lot of high tech, especially here in the Bay Area, that are, for example, making leather out of mushrooms, like growing leather out of mushrooms, or creating materials out of stuff like orange rinds and like crazy stuff like that, that, is still has a long way to go, but like, in the next 20 years, that'll start becoming a real possibility to, for example, replace animal leather or replace certain polyesters. We're also seeing a lot of exciting things happening in the recycling space. So there's materials now that are made out of recycled post-consumer polyester, recycled post-consumer nylon, and all of that. And then what I will say finally is, I think what's happening right now, which is really exciting, is we're seeing traditional ways of making stuff kind of having a moment again, which is kind of like the anti-technology in a way. So I feel like through social media and the unbelievable storytelling power of social media, we're seeing brands that are creating like handicraft items from like Mexico, Ecuador, China, India, and they're able to find an audience on social media, and they're able to kind of revive those crafts. And it's brands like that that I love featuring on the October Club and talking about, because I think that it's a funny question, because in a way, like, this technology is actually helping us to be able to like go back in time and create in a way that is more in touch with nature and more sustainable.
I think that is so cool, because I have definitely noticed like this different change in the movement of people are talking about sustainable fashion. People are no longer looking at it with like kind of like a side eye of just like, oh, if it's sustainable, does that mean it came from, like, personally as a thrifty fashion blogger or something, for a long time it was like, oh yeah, I got this at Goodwill, it's Vince Camuto, and people are like, oh, Goodwill, and I'm like, oh yeah, I got everything at Goodwill, hey. But it's like it's more of a conversation of like the start to finish of what our products are made of and finding a way to repurpose. And I think that is so freaking cool, and I love that you are representing it so beautifully.
Thank you.
You're welcome. All right, Melissa, don't worry, we are so here for you, girl, and I'm so excited to hear a little bit more about this. So obviously your brand is all about inclusion and diversity, and it's made a lot of progress in the fashion industry, but obviously there's still a lot of work to do. How are you personally seeing the industry change, or do you think it's like on that way to make it more inclusive and diverse?
I have seen some change. It's been a little slow coming, in my opinion. But just in the last about year and a half alone, I've seen a huge push of people speaking out saying, hey, this needs to change. And you've seen it, and there's been some of the higher end shows in Europe and such, including a lot more models of color, models of different abilities. I'm really excited to see that. Like, that it needs to be there. Fashion is for everyone. Yes. You know, everybody has to wear something. And when fashion is kind of geared just towards your, size 8, able to, do everything, not having to work around things, that cuts out a huge portion of the population.
Yeah, it really does.
So I'm excited to see more. I think if people keep speaking up the way that I've seen, there's a lot of, I've seen a lot of groups and organizations popping up just in the last few months. And I think it kind of goes hand in hand with the protests that have been going on. But a lot of, there's one I follow, it's called Models for Change. There's a lot of, they're small, but I think they're growing. And as more people say, hey, yeah, this is what we want to see. We want to see ourselves on the runway. We want to see fashion that's accessible for everybody. I'm really hoping that it becomes not just talk, but much more action.
Yeah, I completely agree with that.
Yeah. And then like with our work with Passport to Fashion, it was started by my friend as more of a cultural diversity, and we've expanded that to be, diversity of all kinds. But that's also a platform to let, we've had gender fluid designers on there. We've had designers from India, from Africa, that are expressing their culture through their clothing. So I think that's really important to start seeing too, is just, it doesn't have to be all pastels and fluff and this and that. Like, it is good to present and appreciate fashion from all around the world without appropriating it, of course, but to let those designers have their voice too and say, hey, our stuff is important, our stuff is beautiful.
Absolutely, because I totally agree that like fashion, especially the trends of fashion, people see like pastels, for instance, and go, oh, I can't wear that, or I would never wear that. But just because it's out there doesn't mean they have to wear it. There is something for everyone, and every voice and every style like stance deserves to be heard, because there is a consumer for every single type of fashion. And I love that you're representing that in a big, big way. Like, that is so incredible. Ah, that's amazing. So to follow up on that question, actually, Melissa, I'm curious, in your mind, what do you think comes first, fashion or the confidence to wear something that you feel powerful in?
The confidence, for sure.
Amen, girl.
I mean, there's all kinds of different fashion, but if you don't have the courage, if you will, to experiment a little, you really got to work through all the different types of fashion that are out there to find what really fits you, and then have the confidence to wear that, even if you think, oh, I'm too shy to wear this, it's too loud, it's too this, it's too that. If that expresses who you truly are inside, I mean, I think that really comes first. And I speak from experience here, because obviously I did not grow up in the fashion industry. I wore very specific pieces. Everybody looked the same. Everybody wore black or dark colors. Like, there was no individuality allowed at all. So like I said, I speak from experience, where that is really such an amazing way to express yourself and not let anybody have any say on how you're expressing yourself. I cut my hair short. Like, you wouldn't see that in the Amish community. And that's one way I do it too. Like, people need to remember, makeup, hair, like, don't listen to anybody. Style how you want, wear what you want. You know, it's important.
I completely agree with that. And I think that's just such a testament to how fashion can be used to promote your self-confidence, that you just, own who you are, own what you like. And if people like it, cool. But what's most important is that you like it, that you feel confident, because that's what matters most, is your self-confidence. Because as soon as you're confident in yourself, other people will see that and they'll have more confidence in you. Like, I just
absolutely
stand behind that. And girl, that haircut on you is like, girl, if I wouldn't look, no, but you rock it. You rock the hell out of it, dude. So I respect that. All right, so now I want to kind of get back into the sustainability aspect, because, sustainable fashion is becoming more of a conversation, and it's such an important topic that, even though it's being talked about a little bit, as you said, Azra, like, we're making progress, but there's still a lot of, like, especially the social media aspect, that is hurting it. So I think it is so important to talk about it more. And especially because fashion is the second most polluting industry in the world. It is insane how much is going to the landfills, like literally ruining our water, like just polluting our earth and creating like a toxic air environment. It's so insane. Like, to me, it just blows my mind, especially knowing, I don't know about y'all, but I've been to the landfill. I've done a couple of events where I'm there promoting thrifting, and you're just like, it breaks your heart to see all these things that just end up in the trash. And it is so freaking sad. So anyway, that's my little soapbox, if you will. But Azra, as consumers, how can we become more aware and informed about the clothes we're wearing and the brands we support?
Yeah, well, I think definitely looking into where things are made and how they were made. Just starting off by reading labels is super important. And don't be fooled by just, a material being natural, for example, because cotton, you might see a label and it says 100% cotton, but cotton is actually one of the biggest crops in the world, and it's one of the biggest users of pesticides in the world. So, for example, like, where possible, use organic cotton, or even better, like hemp or linen. Nylons and polyesters are also particularly naughty. So trying to go for recycled polyester or recycled nylon. And then if you want to be, extra good, when you go to wash your leggings or your sports bras or whatever, I always recommend purchasing something called a guppy friend bag, which basically traps. So what happens is, when you put anything that's polyester or nylon in your laundry, it actually releases microplastics in the water. And what these bags do is they basically like trap the microplastics so they can't escape and get out in the waterways.
That's so
So
cool.
those are some places to start. I mean, you know, thrifting is awesome. I think that thrifting is, other than like not buying stuff you don't need, that's like step one. Step two is thrifting. And then step three is obviously buying from brands that that are, you know, sustainable, smaller businesses, avoiding, you know, the H&Ms and the Zaras, really taking a little bit of time and effort to shop around a little. It's overwhelming. There's a lot of information out there. There's a lot of greenwashing out there. But there are some great resources. So like, that's the reason why, you know, I started my newsletter, was to sort of help people out and, you know, help recommend products and stuff. But there are other websites online, like Good On You is a really good resource. The Good Trade is another one. So the information is all out there. It's just about taking the time to sort of comb through it and make those informed decisions. I mean, I personally love clothes. I love buying stuff. And I find that when I really take the time to go online, find something I absolutely love, and I read about, you know, the people who made it, the materials that go into it, the hands that it touched, like I just gained so much more respect for the product, and it makes me appreciate it so much more. It makes me appreciate where my money is going, because, you know, it's an investment. It's, you know, your time and your effort goes into purchasing your items. And so just seeing it as like a source of pride, like, oh, like, you know, you buy something and then you wear it, you know, with pride. You're like, okay, this didn't harm anyone. This like helps, you know, women earn an income. Like that I think is the kind of like sentiment that you need to go into it with.
Yeah, I completely love that. And I think, like you said, so much of it is doing the research, knowing the questions to ask. And I feel like the things of like, who actually made this? Whose hands did it touch? Where did this come from? What like manufacturing was put into this garment to be what it is? I think that's so important to educate ourselves on, especially if we are trying to make a more sustainable like footprint on this planet, in the fashion world especially, because it is so easy to overlook and forget and just not be mindful of where things are coming from, or who's putting their work into it. Like, I just think that's so valuable.
Yeah.
And so this would be a question for Nina and Ezra, I think, is if you say you live in a rural area, what are good resources for recycling your clothes, or, you know, things like that? Because often things end up in the landfill because people just go, oh, what am I going to do with it? And they throw it in the trash. So what's a good way that people can go about recycling their unwanted clothing?
Okay, I can go first. So it's going to depend on what you're recycling and what the fabric is. If it's a nice item, there's always apps like Poshmark, Depop that are really popular. I love Buffalo Exchange because it's pretty much everywhere. I don't have one local to me because I'm considered in a fairly rural area, and they provide you just request a bag from them. They will mail it to you, and it's like up to like 40 pounds. You fill that with everything that you no longer want, and they send you the check. And then they end up reselling that. You can always find like a local boutique as well that consigns. I do consign a lot. I personally don't buy anything that I couldn't resell because it's wasteful, and you would receive a profit from that. But those are really great options. And then you can also find like local charities, women's shelters that need those items as well. So it's going to depend. And if you're recycling, Ezra can probably say more about this, but if it's based on the particular type of fabric, it's going to depend where you're going to recycle that.
Absolutely.
Yeah, just to add on that, so I think Nina's totally on point that finding a new life for your clothes is the best solution, because currently for recycling, as in like taking the fiber, breaking it down, getting rid of all the dyes and everything like that, it's an incredibly difficult process, and it's actually, for most materials, almost impossible. Mm-hmm. And so and also the infrastructure really isn't there yet. So unless you're in a big city, but even in big cities, like the infrastructure for recycling textiles in the United States especially is just not there yet. And hopefully that'll change. But I think for now, either trying to like mend things that perhaps you're not wearing because they're broken or whatever, or exactly what Nina said, trying to resell it and donate it is the best way to go.
Completely agree.
Another thing that I could add to that is that you can always repurpose. I know there's companies like Denim Refinery where you ship in your jeans that no longer fit you and they can turn it into a denim jacket, or they can just change the style out a bit, or change pockets or make it up to trend. So there's different companies that do that as well. Depending on the material and kind of what you're looking for, there's options in that sense.
That's super cool. What was the name of that denim company?
That was Denim Refinery. There's multiple, and if they're not local to you, you can ship them out. But there's multiple companies that will repurpose denim or bring it up to trend for you or change it up.
Yeah. If you have any of those companies in mind and you want to drop that in the chat, I think that could be a really cool resource if you wouldn't mind doing that.
Yeah.
So on this, again, talking about sustainability, Melissa, this question is for you. As a designer, what is your perspective on sustainability in the fashion industry, especially being in big fashion markets like New York, Paris, London, those big fashion forward cities?
I agree with Azra that there's still a lot of greenwashing out there. But I'm hoping between the agreements that were made in Europe, that hopefully the US will kind of hop on that too and set some standards for how the fashion industry is going to work towards sustainability. And I think the consumer is going to have a lot of power in that. The more people say this is what we want, I really think that they're going to start turning that around. I'm already seeing it a little. I'd like to see a lot more. Also, kind of speaking to the whole buying clothing thing, instead of this habit of you've got an event to go to, and so you go and you buy 2, 3, 4 outfits and you try them all on, and and then you never wear them again. Look for somebody who makes custom clothing, especially a small business. They're going to be more likely to be very careful with both the fabric selection, especially if you go with a small sustainable designer, what type of fabrics they use. They're going to be careful about the waste that they have. And they're just making that one outfit for you. It's going to fit your body perfectly. You're not going to have to I got to do this and I have to change this and I have to wear this underneath because it doesn't work. I think that's a really important option that people should be aware of. So one thing I've seen on the runways is patchwork, which is really cool. And I know it's going to be a new trend and everything. I would like to see more patchwork that's actually patchwork and not just printed on fabric to look like patchwork. Yeah. I have a collection I'm working on. I save all my fabric scraps. Anything that's like an inch square or bigger, I save. And I have a little stash. And I'm working on reusing all those little pieces, even if they're tiny little pieces, to sew together, make my own fabric, cut it out from there, and try and keep that waste down to like a bare minimum as much as I can. And then the rest of that little pieces can go in like our compost pile outside, So I think consumer shopping, paying attention, like they were saying, paying attention to what you're buying and what it's made from, how you're caring for it, and really making your voice known to the companies that are out there. Hey, we're tired of this. Like, our clothes are falling apart after 2 wears. This is a waste of money. This is a waste of time. Like, we want better. The consumer needs to make their voice heard. And I think that'll have a huge impact once that they can really get that ball rolling.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. I think so many people think that their voice doesn't matter, which is so sad because we've seen it happen with multiple brands right now where enough people are speaking up and saying the same thing. They're listening. They just ignore it if they only hear it a few times. So if you say something loud enough and long enough, like, you can really create change. And I love all the steps that you're making to do that, especially talking about how the patchwork is like a trend and, but it's also a consumer friendly trend where it's reducing the waste because you're actually doing real patchwork. I love that you said that rather than just like the screen printing that is patchwork. And it's like, no, that's just like putting something in a printer. That's not actually I just think that's such a powerful statement.
Well, and
And
there's
so
a lot
on
of,
that, oh, sorry, go ahead.
I was gonna say, there's a lot of technology out there now. I mean, there's ways to create and design your patterns so that you are designing for minimal waste. I know several designers that are just about at zero waste, which is incredible. And I mean, I am kind of on the opinion that if I can do it and I'm a tiny one-woman show right now, then these bigger companies have no excuse, because it is not that unaffordable to buy and use this software. I use software that I can do standard sizing or I can do custom sizing, and I can move stuff around how I want it to like get the most out of my fabric. And like I said, if I can do it, there's no reason they can't.
Preach, girl. I so agree with that. Especially talking about how like you do the customized pieces. And I think so many people think of a custom piece and go, oh my gosh, that must be so expensive. But in the end, if you're buying 4 outfits for an event, you're probably spending as much, if not more, and creating so much waste of things just sitting in your closet new with tags. So why not like truly embrace your personal style and go and create something that is uniquely beautiful just for you, rather than having the same thing as God knows how many women that also bought said dresses. And I don't know about you, I never want to show up to an event in the same dress as somebody. Like that's like a weird fear of mine, truly. But so talking about the personal styling, Raquel, I would love to talk to you a little bit more. You have been so beautifully sitting there, and I am just so excited to dive a little bit more into the personal branding. So you mentioned that when you're working through the Catch app, like you literally, the technology integrates like the influencers they're following on Instagram. What are other ways that you incorporate that? Do you use like Pinterest boards or other things like that to really discover people's personal brands and stylings that they prefer without having met them?
Yeah, so we are completely data-driven operation. We get all these data points up front from our style quiz, from their Instagram. Users text us back and let us know what they're looking for. But one of the biggest ways that we also determine your style is every time we send out product recommendations, we encourage our users to interact with each one. So we actually use, we're only available to iMessage users, but the reason for that is because if you have an iPhone, you're able to hold down on the text messages that we send and give it a heart, a thumbs up, or a thumbs down. And that immediate product feedback that we're able to get drives your recommendations even more. So the more that you interact with the recommendations you get, the more that will understand your style. And what's interesting about that is we allow you and we encourage you to thumbs down anything that you dislike. And that negative behavior is something that is really missing in online shopping currently. Most sites have some kind of built-in recommendation engine on them. It's not like a new novel idea, but they're very one-sided. If you click something on Nordstrom.com, all of your recommendations on the bottom are going to be based off of that click. They see that click as a positive behavior, but if you actually went to that product, read about the fabric or something and realized you didn't like it, there's no way to let Nordstrom know, like, please don't show me any more of that. That's the beautiful thing about text message. It's so easy and you can just literally thumbs down something and we're like, okay, got it. We won't show you any more of that. So that's a really cool, really quick and easy way that we're learning more about your style and improving your recommendations.
I think that's really cool, especially because not only are you finding out, the consumer, the customer is also finding out their personal style in an easier way than going out and trying 20 different styles and then finally being like, oh, I like this, I don't like this. Like, I just think that's such a smart way to implement that personal knowledge of what you like and don't like without having to spend all the money and like breaking your bank just to try to find what works for you. Like, I think that's
definitely. And it's also fun. It's like gamifying the experience. People love sharing their opinions on Facebook. There's like 17 reactions you can give to a post now. So yeah, it just makes the whole shopping experience a little bit more fun as well.
I definitely agree with that. And would you say that like working with a personal stylist is, I love that you've made it cost efficient for the average everyday person, but what would you say is the top benefit to working with a personal stylist?
Yeah, the top benefit, which is also the reason that we started this, is to save time. Um, what kind of drove me and my sister to start Catch is we were the target consumers that needed Catch. We were busy working professionals. We had active social lives. The little bit of free time we had, we didn't want to spend browsing thousands and thousands of products online. It's so overwhelming and it's so ridiculous. So definitely saving you time is a huge benefit. But another benefit, which has kind of transformed and has become one of our core values at Catch just over the last couple of months, something that I had a self-revelation about, which kind of goes into all of this sustainability and just everything that's happening in the world, is also helping our users discover really amazing brands to shop and support, whether that be sustainable brands or minority owned, female owned brands. We got a lot of feedback from our users that they want to feel good about where they're shopping and where they're spending their money. And honestly, it's kind of hard to find these brands to support. I mean, which makes sense. There's a lot of them, but they're small. They don't have the marketing budget that all of these big companies have. So really, how would you find them? So one of our big values right now and moving forward is we're focusing on bringing on brand partners that are sustainable, female owned. We're going out and doing that research and finding these brands so that we can be a point of discoverability for our consumers. So I'm excited about that. It's in the works. We don't have too many of those types of brand partners currently, but that is one of our main focuses moving forward.
I think that's a great goal, especially because in these pandemic times of not necessarily being able to go to like a mall or to a retail shop, is feeling like you can still try things without having to go out and do the physical shopping. Having somebody else do that for you essentially is a great resource. And I think you're a much needed resource, especially given these times. Same with like Poshmark and resellers and things like that, but it's hard to go on and make the sustainable purchases like on a reselling platform if you don't know what you're shopping for. It can be so overwhelming. So I think it's important to know that if you don't know what you're looking for, you can. I love that you integrate so many different social media platforms like Pinterest and Instagram, and creating like these almost like collections that all kind of probably have a general aesthetic or theme, and being able to use that as your basis to be like, oh wait, I do have a certain taste or just like inkling towards a specific style, and you taking those and pulling out the little fine pieces and being able to truly create something like that. I think that is so smart.
Yeah, thanks so much.
No, our pleasure. Let's see. Now, this is a pretty broad question, actually. So I'm going to start with Melissa. You mentioned earlier how like owning your color, owning whatever color you want, like, wearing whatever you want, not worrying about the trends, what everybody else is wearing. So do you have any thoughts on like the Pantone colors of the year, the seasonal colors and things like that? Like, how do you pick a color that works for you?
As far as designing, or just what I personally wear?
What you personally like, what makes you feel like
trial and error. I mean, there might be some times where I look to see what the color of the year is, but I hate to say this on a fashion event, I'm not like super into the fashion that I wear. Like, I've found what works for me, and that's typically what I stick to. However, like I said, it was some trial and error. So even things as simple as when you can go into a store, don't buy the stuff, just at least put it up in front of you in some good lighting. If you can, try it on. But I mean, so there used to be this whole thing, like I remember in the 90s, like this whole conversation about winter colors and summer colors and the this and the that. I still think that holds true somewhat, but also just what somebody tells you looks good on you doesn't necessarily mean that's a color that you're going to like. So I also kind of throw that out the window a little. Like, I've been told I shouldn't wear like reds and pinks and stuff because I'm pretty fair, and so it kind of washes me out, but I don't really care because, like, you can see I'm wearing bright pink. So
yeah.
And I think too, as if you're into like makeup and playing with your hair and stuff, that can help accent that too. Like you can tone it down or dress it up, or, you know, wear something neutral if you prefer neutral, and just throw, you know, a nice accessory on or something. I mean, there's easy ways of doing that. So yeah, I mean, I follow the trends somewhat because I have to, but I don't necessarily follow them for myself. Honestly, I don't even necessarily follow them for what I design. I usually design to what I think people want, as opposed to what the color of the year is. So
who's your ideal client, if you don't mind me asking? Like, who do you want to create for?
Typically kind of what I've narrowed it down to is 25 to like 38, somewhere in there. Probably out of college into a career, you know, possibly a parent, not necessarily, but a lot of my pieces too, I've made so that you can add and remove layers. So I kind of went through this phase, like coming out of the Amish community, where I didn't like, not that I didn't want to dress modestly, but I was just like, let it all go. And I kind of backed off from that, and I found what I feel comfortable. So I feel more comfortable with sleeves that are at least almost to my elbow. I feel more comfortable in pants versus shorts. Like that doesn't necessarily have anything anymore to do with how I was raised, just what I'm comfortable in. And I found that there's a lot of women my age that lean more towards that now. They don't want to necessarily wear sleeveless. They want something that's a little bit longer. So all of my pieces, for the most part, I make so that maybe there's a cape that you add, or a sleeve that, you know, you can make a longer or shorter depending on how it's made. So everything is not just customizable when I make it, but customizable when you wear it. And I think that can kind of help too with if you really like something, but you don't feel like it's quite for you because it just needs something. That's kind of where I come in. I can make it with those things automatically, or I can make them later if you're like, hey, I'd really like a little more coverage here, but let's add this.
Yeah, I think that's so cool, and it adds the versatility aspect of getting more wear from one piece, like, than just wearing it once. I'm a big believer, if you love it, wear it again and wear it again, wear it again. Like, and I just think that's so cool that you're integrating so many options into your designs and allowing it to truly be personal to the buyer, to the consumer, to your client. I just think that's so cool and a much needed thing in this sustainable minded movement of fashion. Like, you're just adding your personal touch to that, and I think that is so freaking cool.
Thanks.
You're welcome. I'm back to the sustainable fashion question. Actually, Azra, you were given a question on our chat group, and it was, how does shipping sustainability, like, how does that all work in this sustainable fashion movement?
Yeah, I got really excited when I read that, because that is a really, really good question. And something that I recently did a lot of research on, and the answer totally surprised me. I thought, and you would kind of expect that ordering online actually, increases the carbon footprint of what you're buying and is worse for the environment, but that's actually not necessarily the case. So what happens when you go to a store and buy something that's in a store, a lot of this, obviously everything that's there has been shipped in bulk from, a warehouse, and it's been shipped to the warehouse from, India, China, Bangladesh, Africa, South America, like wherever it was produced. And the carbon footprint of shipping in bulk is huge. So just getting something from a warehouse to the store requires a huge amount of, truck space and containers and like all this stuff left and right. And then a lot of that stuff doesn't end up getting sold. And so then it ends up going back to the warehouse or going to just be like dumped or whatever. And one thing I learned, which I found fascinating, is that ordering something online, because the way the Postal Service works, they're obviously trying to optimize their shipping and delivery. So essentially it's kind of like public transport for your goods. So ordering stuff online is not worse than going to buy something in a store, basically, because of the way the Postal Service handles shipping and the way they group stuff.
Interesting. That is super good information, because that's a common question I know that I've been asked with the sustainable fashion movement of like, well, I can't find what I want, like shopping secondhand. What if I need to buy it online? Even if it's a sustainable company, how is the shipping still being affected? So I think that was a really great question. And thank you so much for sharing your input on that. All right, well, if you ladies don't mind, I'm kind of been dying to ask you all this just because I love to know people's personal style. So, fall trends. What is everybody's favorite trend happening right now? If you have one, or if you're just anti-trends, like I want to hear that too. I want to hear it all. So, if you don't mind, Nina, do you want to start us off?
Okay, for like fall trends coming up this year,
Yeah.
what I'm looking forward to, oh my gosh, I think it's the same thing about fall every year, that I just love the idea of layering. It's very convenient for me, and I can wear like things that I've had for years and years and years and just like reuse them finally. I love a good strappy heel or a sandal, but like, you know, it's not petty season right now with this quarantine and stuff. So like a closed toe shoe, a really cute leather booty. I have like some of my favorite shoes that I've had since like high school, and they were just like such good quality, and I can't get rid of them because I can't find another shoe that's that good. Reusing those stuff that I really loved.
Yeah, I really love that. Raquel, what's your favorite fall trend?
Great question. This is super basic and boring, but knee-high boots, huge fan of those. I feel like they will never go out of style. Don't know that I'll be wearing them a lot this fall because I don't really leave my apartment anymore, but I will try. If anything, I'll just put them on for like a mirror selfie. But yeah, you just feel like, I don't know, I feel more powerful in my boots than I do in my flip-flops. So excited for that.
I'm a big believer that a shoe can make or break an outfit. And I don't know, if you don't follow me, I get dressed like every day. Even my husband came home from work the other day and I was wearing heels just because I wanted to wear heels. And
I love it.
like,
Sometimes you have to just do that to, yeah, brighten up your day. Good for you.
exactly. Especially when you have all these beautiful clothes in your closet and you're like, I'm not going to let these go to waste just because of a quarantine pandemic. Like, they deserve to be worn and owned. So, girl, you wear those knee-high boots and wear them proudly, girlfriend. Wear them proudly.
Will do.
Awesome. Melissa, what's your favorite fall trend right now?
Capes have been in for a while, and it looks like they're going to be big again this fall. And I love a good cape or big drapey shawl. So, yeah, I'm kind of excited to see those. Yeah, I mean, they're comfy, they're cozy, they keep you dry. Yeah.
And they move so beautifully when you walk. Like, you just feel so glamorous. Just like you're taking 5 steps, and all of a sudden you have this like flowing movement behind you, and you just feel like everything. But you're still comfy, and I'm a huge advocate for that.
Yeah, I've dipped my toe a little into some like historical fashion and a little bit of cosplay too on the side. And so every time I like throw one on, I like feel like I'm gonna go like battle a dragon or something.
Yes, I love that so much. You should always dress like you're going into battle for one thing or another. Azra, what's your favorite fall trend? Or yeah.
I mean, I think we're all gonna be indoors, and so I'm just gonna, everything that has been said already is so true, but I'm gonna take a little bit of a spin on it and say that since we now all have so much more time to consider what we're buying, maybe sustainable fashion brands and sustainable clothes are going to be the trend. And not just that, I mean, I think a trend in society in general is supporting minority people and supporting women. So, finding companies that are owned by minority folks and women and small businesses, supporting them. I think that's my favorite trend.
I think that's a great trend, and that's a very good little plug. Let's embrace the sustainable community and just, be mindful about what we're buying, what we're putting on, who we're supporting, and the people behind the brands that we're supporting. I think that's super, super impactful.
Totally.
So now I just want to open it up to our beautiful attendees. If you have any last minute questions that you'd like to ask any of our panel members, if there was something that was said that you just kind of want to touch on, now's your chance to kind of have the floor. To, throw them in the chat, make sure it's visible to all panelists, and we would love to see those and answer any last minute questions for you guys. Ooh, here's a good one. This isn't to any one person, is where do you get your style inspiration? Like, for your personal style? Do you have any like celebrity or certain vibe or aesthetic that you are geared towards? Feel free to take the floor if you'd like.
I don't necessarily dress this way, but I love Kate Blanchett's style. she works a power suit like nobody's business. So someday I'll get to that point. Probably as I go to more events, I'm gonna have to like dress it up a little. But I have a whole board of just her in suits and tuxedos. So
I'm a sucker for a great power suit. I probably have a blazer in every single color because that is my like power piece. Whether I'm wearing like denim cutoffs and a graphic tee or like a monochromatic like matching blazer and God knows what style of pant, I think a power suit is like everything. Hence the blazer today, because I was like, I need to feel confident for this. And yeah, I love that. What about you other ladies? Who's your style inspiration if you have any?
I'm gonna say every French woman ever. Like if you just go to Paris and you just sit in a little cafe and you watch the women walk by, they're so effortless and so chic, and like they make a pair of skinny jeans and a simple t-shirt and a handbag look fabulous. And so that's really it for me. It's like effortless, classic, beautiful, like you just throw on some clothes, some mascara, and like get out the door looking amazing.
Yeah, I know there were quite a few people in the chat earlier talking about Paris style and just wanting to like next first trip post quarantine is to Paris. And I just love that timeless, effortless style. And yes, the French do that very, very well. I could totally see you in just like a cute little French cafe with a little beret. And
oh yeah, the beret. You've got to have the beret.
God, in Tori's video, her little fashion hat definitely had me feeling all the French vibes. Raquel, what about you? What's your, like, who do you like source style inspiration from? Or what?
Yeah, I wouldn't say there's any one person in particular, but my whole Instagram feed is just brands and models and micro influencers, and I save all of this outfit inspo on there and screenshot everything. And then if I'm feeling trendy one day, I will try to put together an outfit, most of which I can't pull off, but it's okay. I try. It's fun. But yeah, I just kind of source it from social media, which there's just so much going on there. So
I think that is such a powerful statement to make, is the power of just screenshotting or bookmarking like styles that you like. And just, even though you don't know if it's going to work, like why not try it? And a lot of the things you want to create, you can kind of put together through items in your closet in one way or another as a source of inspiration. And then you get to see if it works. And if not, just move on to the next one. And I love that so much. Let's see. We got a few questions coming in right now. Oh, this is a good question about sustainable materials. Do any of you know any good sustainable jewelry companies?
There's starting to be quite a few out there. If you just go in and search, like hashtags especially are good, like on Instagram for finding that. I know several that that do pottery pieces. So they mix up the clay themselves, they bake it and create earrings and statement necklaces and things like that. I mean, they're out there. You have to look for them. But I mean, I've been seeing more and more just coming across my Instagram. I mean, Instagram kind of caters to what I look for now, but I've been seeing a lot of different ones coming across. I've seen people using yarn and like knitting little things too that they turn into earrings and stuff. So there's some really cool things out there.
I definitely agree. And a little plug that one of our sponsors and brand partners right now, Mava, is actually completely sustainable. So make sure you check them out as well.
To that, I would also add, so yes, there's a lot of sustainable jewelry brands, but also finding like antique or secondhand jewelry. There's a lot of places online that sell really, really beautiful like antique rings and earrings and brooches and stuff. And the great thing about jewelry is, unlike fabric, it like falls apart way less quickly. So like jewelry stays in one piece, no pun intended. And so yeah, like buying, beautiful secondhand jewelry is also really fun because it kind of feels like you're on a treasure hunt, like finding that one like special piece that you'll end up wearing for like the rest of your life.
Yeah, I definitely love that. I'm a jewelry girl. I love a statement piece, whether it's an earring, a necklace, a bracelet, a watch. Like, I love that. And I definitely agree. A few of them are antique or hand-me-downs from like my grandmother or like my great-grandmother. And they are those timeless pieces that you go back for again and again and again. And they're not falling apart like some of the other things that I might have tried to invest in that are tarnished and not wearable anymore. Oh, here's a good one. So what fashion pieces can be combined for light brown skin and for plus size women? She said, especially wanting to present yourself as casual but professional and presentable. Anybody got any 2 cents on that?
I like two pieces, like skirt and blouse.
Yeah.
I tend towards longer myself. I like at least calf length, if not floor length. I'm plus size myself, so and if you can find a really good fitting trouser, I mean, again, looking for like custom pieces. So, but you can still find them even at certain stores, like a good, well fitted. Get it tailored if you need to. Like, take advantage of that. It's really not that expensive. I think people think, oh, going to a tailor is like pricey. It's really not that expensive, especially if you're going to wear that item more times because it fits you better than just wearing it once saying, oh man, these pant legs are too long, I'm just not going to wear it. So again, it takes a little time and effort to find those things, but those are kind of my go-tos, or like if I can find or make a well-fitted trouser or a skirt, and one that's not too blousy, somewhat fitted in the hips, and then maybe more like a, not mermaid, but a little looser down around the knees.
And I do agree with that, actually. I am very blessed to have some beautiful plus size friends that are just gorgeous inside and out. And something they love sharing with other plus size women is not being afraid to embrace your curves. You don't just be, if you're a certain size, a lot of people feel like they have to like drown themselves in fabric, when that's not at all the case. Like, don't be afraid to throw a belt on there. If you have an oversized blazer that doesn't have buttons, you can like pull it across like this and belt it right here just to give yourself some shape. Don't be afraid to embrace your shape and just, you know, own your curves, because we all have different bodies, and so many people think just because they're a certain size or shape that they can't wear what they want to wear. And I think that is such a huge stigma that we need to break with the inclusivity and diversity of women in general, because it's not one size fits all, and fashion isn't supposed to be.
Yeah, all my pieces are, I like to say, body shaped. Like, they're not super tight, they're not extremely form-fitting, but they follow the curves of the body. They're not just like, I mean, even my larger sizes, they're not just, here's a sack, wear it. No, I'm going to design it to follow the curves of your body, because that's who you are. Celebrate that, like, embrace those curves. Like, I don't know.
No, I love that. Important. Okay, here's another question. This is definitely applicable to everybody. We've all touched on how in this quarantine life, we're not going out nearly as much. So on that note, how are you still dressing up your quarantine style, or are you upkeeping it? I've had quite a few people say that they at first were getting ready every day, but now are in athleisure and workout wear, or joggers, or staying in pajamas all day. Where do you all stand on that?
This is such a funny question. I love this question because I can totally relate to this. And my answer is not so much like fashion related, but more like hygiene related. So like, that sounds weird. Like, I found that what's really hard in quarantine is like keeping up your habit of like shaving your legs and like showering and like washing your hair when you're like, if your hair's a little bit greasy and you're like not going anywhere, you're just like, oh, whatever. But what's really like helped me and like kept me keep it under control is like to make sure that I take those like long luxurious showers. I like, you know, deep condition my hair and like do all of that. Maybe like, even if I'm not wearing makeup, I'll like put like really good moisturizer on, and that makes you feel like, even if you're just wearing a clean, like a nice simple pair of like leggings and a t-shirt, you'll still like carry yourself with so much more like confidence, and you just feel way more put together, I find.
Self-care does not go out the door just because we are quarantining, my friends. And dry shampoo is life. Like, do the hair mask about once a week, but like embrace the dry shampoo. What about you, Raquel or Nina or Melissa? How are you guys all embracing the personal style amidst COVID and quarantining?
I've been same. I was doing so well, I would say, like the first month and a half. But with that, like with the fashion industry changing and like pushing so much athleisure and like loungewear, which is like they're making loungewear and pajamas that you could wear during the day, because I've been looking at them day and night because they're so cute. And also like getting into, somebody asked about jewelry, getting into jewelry. So like I'll wear some denim shorts, vintage shorts, which is like my everyday because they're just so convenient. And like a really nice white crisp tee, which I've been like getting new ones of because mine were like torn and stuff and old and ugly and have like Cheeto stains. And then like putting on like, you know, like my gold rings and stuff just because I really like that. But that like makes me feel better about myself, and makes it acceptable for me to like go to the grocery store if I need to, or do like some really quick stuff while still like looking decent, and actually showing face on my social, which has been really difficult recently, but it helps. It really does help and just makes you feel better about yourself in general.
I do agree. The little attention to details, throw on some rings, put on some fun earrings, even if you're in casual athleisure wear, don't be afraid to accessorize because accessories feel good and they make everyone feel just a little prettier, even if you're in joggers and like a lazy t-shirt, which I encourage. What about you, Raquel?
I will say I kind of just started and am still in the athleisure loungewear, but my loungewear has probably stepped it up a notch. It used to be like oversized old sorority tees, and now I've upgraded to like nice sweatshirts. But yeah, that's kind of my look. I'm all for comfort right now. I wear like my Spanx leggings and a different crew neck every day. And I've been experimenting with like new hairstyles because that's like the most dominant thing that anyone sees. So
Right.
been doing some braids or like testing out some new down dos. So that's the extent of my quarantine fashion.
I love that. Now's the time to play, like, because who's really going to see it unless you're like, I mean, maybe you're Amazon delivery driver, maybe.
Probably. That's it.
What about you, Melissa? How are you doing with the quarantine style?
I do sometimes spend my days in pajamas, but I've got 2 small kids, so sometimes it's hard not to. Like, especially with school starting. If I work part-time at a bank, so if I'm not working at the bank, I will admit to sometimes just like not even changing, just being like, okay, let's get this day going. But typically it's like jeans and a nerdy t-shirt. That's always kind of my go-to. So I feel more dressed when I at least have that on, if not anything else. And then like half the week I have to like dress up in business clothes anyway, so.
That's fair. That keeps you a little more motivated, mostly because you have to. I know I was definitely the advocate for like, get ready every day. So maybe not makeup, but like at least, again, showering every day, doing my skincare, like putting on clean clothes and like doing because for me, I'm like, if I don't get dressed, if I'm wearing like I just am such a weird mindset person. I'm such a believer that your fashion can truly boost your mood in any given situation. But I've definitely found like I had 2 days in a row recently where I did a bar workout and then like didn't even shower for like 6 hours, and I was disgusting. And my husband came home from work and he's just like, oh my God, I know, who is this person? But we have to give ourselves grace. And I think that's such an important reminder that, you know, like do what's best for you. If you're comfortable not getting ready every day, don't feel like you have to, don't feel pressured to do it. You have to do what's best for you and your heart, your mindset, your body, and just, you know, being confident and embracing who you are. And I think we can all do a little bit more of that, giving ourselves grace in these COVID quarantine times, especially you moms that are doing homeschooling or juggling, working from home with little children and maybe spouses that are also working from home. Just mad props to all you out there, because I mean, I'm thankful that my husband's working full time out of the house, but I'm home a lot more, and holy moly, am I thanking sweet Jesus above that. Anyway. Well, lots of compliments on your red lipstick, Melissa. You're inspiring others to rock the red lipstick. Just so you know, in case you didn't see that.
I like a good red. I've been buying mine from like a small minority female-owned business. She makes all her own lipstick, and I love it.
That's so cool. I love a good lip, in case you couldn't tell, and I'm just such a believer that like why not own it? Like, have fun with it, have fun with your style. And for me, like, a great lip really just gives me that oomph in my mindset. And if you can find a good one that doesn't transfer in your face mask, like, I'm a huge winner for that. And Maybelline has a really good one, I'm not gonna lie, like, nada, and it's beautiful. But anyway. Let's see if there's any more questions. Other than that, I think we're pretty close to wrapping it up. And I just really want to thank all of you ladies for joining us. This was so incredible. I hope you enjoyed coming on and sharing in this amazing event with us. We are so privileged to have gotten to know you more, to support your businesses, your brands, and you as empowered independent women that are just embracing your passions in life. And I know you have inspired so many of these amazing ladies on this amazing event, and we just can't thank you enough for being here.
And thank you
very much,
Ashley, for having us and being awesome.
Thank you. You guys rolled with the punches, and I mean, we had fun. I had fun. I hope you did too.
Yep.
All right.
Yes,
well, now
great.
if anybody wants anything, make sure you're following them on their Instagram handles. They have been put up in the chat as well as they are posted on our She Factor website. Don't forget that we do have giveaways going on, and we are always encouraging your feedback. We'd love to hear how you enjoyed the experience, if you had fun. And last but not least is we have one of our biggest giveaways we've ever done. We have literally so many boxes to give away. They are She Factor fashion boxes, and we are going to be giving away so many of them, and I'm so excited about all of our She VIP members get these boxes every month, and I cannot tell you the value on these because holy crap, y'all, it'll blow your mind. I get one every month, and it is such a little exciting thing to get in your mailbox, and I cannot tell you how incredible it is to, I've discovered so many amazing brands, and it just shows the care and attentiveness that the She Factor gives to all of their valued members, because they just value this community so much. So make sure you head to our latest static post on Instagram over at the She Factor. Make sure you double tap the photo, give us some love, and let us know something that you took away from this event, or tag somebody that could join us on the next event, because we would love to have you, and we can't wait to, you know, bring more and more women to this community where we can encourage, empower, and just support one another, because that's what every woman needs, no matter what your age is. So again, make sure you head on over to there. And if you're interested in joining more events like these in the future, we have our next month event is about freedom, and it's just in time for the election craziness. We won't get into all that goodness, but we are so excited. We're gonna have some hilarious ladies joining us to talk about politics, to make it more fun and more inclusive for more people to get into the conversation. There's so much going on right now, and when it comes to freedom, we are all kind of taking a break. Like, let's be real, we're all quarantined, and so our freedom doesn't feel as open as it usually does, or at least what we hope it can be. So we definitely hope you can join us for that. It'll be on September 23rd, same time at 4:30 p.m. So we hope to see you all there. And this is just one last huge thank you to all of our amazing speakers, to Cillian for joining us, for our sponsors, for you beautiful ladies for joining us. We can't thank you enough. Thank you for spending this time on your Wednesday evening with us. And again, we just hope all you ladies enjoyed it. There's a link in the chat to RSVP for our next event. And just again, that we have our weekly virtual happy hours on Thursdays. If you are interested, definitely sign up. It's a free event. We just get together, we talk, have a couple drinks, or don't drink. Just come and enjoy some quality girl time that we all need, and show up just as you are. We can't wait to see you there. So thank you all so much for joining us again. Go out and keep creating the life you love, keep empowering one another, keep setting your goals, and being the best person that you can be for yourself first, because it'll translate throughout the rest of your life as soon as you start believing in it and being confident in yourself.
Right.
So thank you for having us, ladies. And
Thank
for
you.
being here.
Thank you, Ashley.
Thank you. Thank you, Ashley.
Bye, y'all. Have a wonderful evening.
Bye.
Bye.
You too.
Bye-bye.
Nice to meet you, ladies.
Nice to meet you. Bye, Sabrina.
Bye.